Good morning. Indeed, good morning from beautiful, rainy Nairobi, Kenya. Commonwealth Business Women's Network Africa Summit 2022 in Kenya is launching today with a program with Google. Before we get into that, let me talk about the Commonwealth Business Women's Network Africa Summit 2022. The Commonwealth Business Women's Network, with international stakeholders and partners in Africa, present the first edition of the CBWN Africa Summit. This summit is to highlight pertinent matters of political, industrial, technological, and entrepreneurial advancements that have been created by women from the African continent. By showcasing and networking these empowered women by empowering every African woman, you need to save the date for the inaugural Commonwealth Business Women's Network Africa Summit, scheduled for March 9 to 10, 2022. The summit will provide a platform to activate strategies and implement processes to progress women by taking advantage of the Commonwealth Advantage and Intra-Africa Trade Agreement. In this two-day hybrid event, the unique approach that will be twofold event experience with an in-person event will be held in Nairobi, Kenya by CBWN Kenya, as well as online summit platform for all women to become member of CBWN network. To join in the benefits from this amazing platform, to maximize the benefits that can be garnered from the Commonwealth Advantage and intra-Africa trade. 54 Commonwealth countries account for over 17% of the world's GDP in purchasing power parity and contain 2.4 billion people. Even without formal arrangements, trading between Commonwealth countries is 21% cheaper than with non-members. Massive cost cuts come from shared history, cultural links, common legal systems, business practices, and a common language between many Commonwealth countries. This is also known as the Commonwealth Advantage. The summit wants to unpack the Commonwealth Advantage. What does it mean for the African woman from the Commonwealth country? In addition, we have the Intra-Africa Trade Platform. So we do have two platforms that we intend to make aware that the women need to take advantage of. The summit will focus on elevation and economic empowerment of women-driven programs, which will include strengthening women's-led businesses through concessionary funding, technical partnerships with developed Commonwealth partners, fostering women's policy and political leadership in conceptualizing and implementing business and trade opportunities to elevate African women into the 21st century. Specialized missions to resolve challenges faced by marginalized groups of women in the form of education programs. That's why we are here today, addressing mental health, legal representation, and economic empowerment programs, sustainability and environment, and most importantly, a focus on youth and the girl child. This will be the World's Women's Day event. So be part of it on March 2022, 9th and 10th, and it's a hybrid event hosted by Kenya, launched in Nairobi, and log on those dates. With those few remarks, as we launched our summit actually yesterday, I'm so grateful that today we are here with Google to start off That summit, we were training for 100 women across Africa. Welcome, everybody. We have committed to training 10,000 women between now and the end of year 2022. We do hope that you will be part of the 10,000 women. Thank you very much. I would like to invite Sylvia to take over the session because, Sylvia, I am part of the 10,000 women that are getting trained. Welcome, Sylvia.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nana, for the great introduction and also for welcoming me on the stage today. I mean, I'm feeling incredibly privileged to talk to such an amazing audience. Today I'm also particularly happy because I'm facilitating one of my favorite presentations. As Nana said, my name is Sylvia and I work for the Google Digital Garage, and I also work as a facilitator for a Google initiative which goes under the name of I'm Remarkable. And as I was saying, is one of those initiatives that I take pride in facilitating all over the world because it's very, 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 very close to my heart. And as you will see throughout the presentation, I'll give you plenty of examples of how I found myself potentially in the same exact situation that you have experienced in your work life, in your day-to-day life, in terms of taking advantage of understanding how self-promotion can actually make our lives as women a little bit easier when interacting with the wonderful world of opportunities that we have around us. So thanks again, Nana, for giving us this platform and the opportunity to share in the experiences that we have had at Google itself in terms of understanding the role of women in society and at work, and how important it is to talk about this topic of self-promotion, and how sometimes we are our own enemies when it comes to being able to talk about our achievements in the way that we should be doing it. So welcome to the session, as I was saying. So we are, apologies for, sorry, a couple of things happening in the background. We are presenting on YouTube, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult maybe for us to interact. Obviously, we're not interacting face-to-face, so please feel free to introduce yourselves to the rest of the audience and participants by adding maybe a couple of things about yourselves in the comment section of YouTube, unless you're watching us via a smartphone, and this is potentially maybe a little bit more difficult for you to do. So what I'm going to talk to you about is a little bit of research that was done by various institutions, including Barclays University, UCL, or companies such as McKinsey and Google itself, and make you understand what the findings were and why Google decided to start this initiative and spread the word across the globe. I will be asking you to share some of your experiences with me via a little bit of an exercise, and I'll clarify this a little bit more later on during the session. And we'll then have a little bit of a discussion via, as I was saying, the YouTube chat or comments functionalities at the end of the session, and you will be and I will be able to share possibly more information about this initiative if you're curious about how you can also participate in spreading the word by becoming a facilitator as well. So as I said to you right at the beginning, I'm Remarkable is a global Google initiative that has been set up to empower everyone, but particularly underrepresented groups, to celebrate their achievements in the workplace and beyond. Initially, Google set up this initiative to sort of like support women in terms of, like, as I was saying, being able to voice their achievements in the workplace and make everybody else understand the unique value that they bring to the table. But then realize there's a lot of other issues, obviously, inhabiting our societies in terms of like racial inequalities, ethnic backgrounds, language barriers, and everything else that obviously you can see in the spotlight, in the news, pretty much all over the world on a daily basis, and realize that actually self-promotion and being recognized in terms of value that we bring within society and the workplace is not just something that relates to women, but there's a lot of other underrepresented groups that are facing exactly the same issues. And so this initiative actually became a way of a vehicle for us to address those inequalities in society as well. Obviously, the initiative itself and the exercise that we will be doing today are not meant to solve a problem that has been with us for, I would say, thousands of years. But it's just a little step that we can take towards making the world a much better place for everybody, and especially today, obviously, we're going to be talking about the role of women in society and work. So we will learn about the importance of self-promotion in your personal and professional life, and so that you will be better equipped with tools that can help you develop this skill in particular. So we really would like to encourage everyone, but particularly obviously those people belonging to underrepresented groups, to develop that sense of confidence. There's a lot of bias in our society, there's a lot of prejudice, there's a lot of preconceptions, but sometimes there are just cultural and gender modesty norms that prevent us from actually being able to, I wouldn't say shout out about our achievements, but even acknowledging them with ourselves. I don't know about you, but my background is, I come initially from Italy, moved to the UK, worked in both environments, both very culturally different and diverse. And I have come across quite a few of these modesty norms that were applied to women, especially in my country of origin, where women had to show a sense of selflessness and a sense of generosity that, for instance, wasn't being required by other genders. So we do struggle in Italy to have this sense of pride when it comes to women achieving something in the workplace. It's almost like women helping others, women, applying modesty norms or potentially being subjected to imposter syndrome have experienced. And so I'm inviting you to apply a little bit of a self-reflection in your own experiences with your peers in your day-to-day lives and what you have experienced at work in terms of like, were you satisfied with how, well, other people could understand the value that you were bringing to the table. It's well documented at the moment that there's quite a lot of women that are doing really, really well in their careers, but most of them are just getting to a middle management position. And when it comes to being promoted to VP or higher levels, executive roles, they are still struggling, and there's still quite a lot of concerns about their ability to achieve, a higher status or being able to manage the roles that they would be given were they to be promoted to those higher roles. So I'm inviting you today, you're all professional women, you belong to a business, a women's business network, and you might have probably already chatted about all of those hurdles that you've come across. Funnily enough, again, the research shows that women whose age is 50 plus still tend to have quite a lot of issues in terms of being able to self-promote and talk about how far they've gone in achieving amazing results, whereas the younger generation seems to be a little bit more vocal about it. So very, very happy to come to that realization, not just through the pieces of research that Google has used to put together this presentation or this workshop, but also in terms of like the many workshops that I have delivered myself, where I've realized that the younger generations of women and underrepresented groups are becoming a little bit more vocal in terms of making people realize how awesome they are. The funny thing is that sometimes, and especially when we go into a little bit of imposter syndrome sort of like mode, we tend to start thinking that if we have achieved something and if we shout out about it, we're made to feel that we're bragging about it. The actual reality is that if we are talking about that we have about something that we have achieved and that's actually happened, if we take a little bit of a sense of pride in it, look at me, I've said a little bit of a sense of pride, even if we take a sense of pride in it, it's not bragging. We're actually talking about something that actually happened. So just to give you an example, when I started working for the Google Digital Garage, I took like a massive pride in it. And as I was talking to other people, I could see that, you know, my perception, maybe not even the reality of what they were, my perception of their reaction to me saying, hey, I've achieve this, or when I started project managing an entrepreneurship program for the Center for Entrepreneur, you know, where I was dealing on a day-to-day basis with the Home Office, and you know, and it was an amazing program because it was aimed at developing entrepreneurship skills within the refugees communities. People were looking at me thinking, why are you even saying that? Because I was proud and because it was a fact. I wasn't bragging. I was just really, really happy that my life was presenting me with those opportunities in which I was also doing well. But to an extent that even my own mother couldn't understand the role that I had within those roles. Still today, my mum, who's nearly 80 years old, looks at me and says, I don't even understand what you do for a living, Sylvia, which is great. And on the flip side, she was also saying, when I was trying to explain to her, I'm project managing this amazing project with the Centre for Entrepreneurship and the Home Office, she said, oh, so are you helping? Who are you helping? So are you being like, are you an admin person? Are you a secretary? Who are you working for? Who's your boss? And I said, my boss is the Home Office, mother. I have to respond to them and send them practically reports on our activity on a day-to-day basis. And once again, she was coming back to me saying, I don't understand what you're saying. And my dad sitting next to me was laughing like mad, saying, she is project managing this whole project. So sometimes even within our own families, we come across there's modesty norms where women are expected to have a specific role and not potentially, as you can see on the slide, brag about it. We're not bragging, we're doing. So just to remind you that sometimes we are our worst enemies, because when we see other women or other members of our societies react the way that my mum did with me talking about facts and being happy and satisfied with what I was doing, when we see that, we learn that potentially that's not what we should be doing, and therefore that we shouldn't really be talking about how great we feel about something that we're doing. So what that then causes like some sort of like a chain effect where we stop talking about our accomplishments, and we stop doing it in our societies, we stop doing it at work as well. And then we see other people getting promoted. We see them achieve amazing things at work, maybe things that we want for ourselves and that we think we would be 100% capable of doing. And the reason why that happens, 9 times out of 10, it's because we do not talk about our accomplishments. I'll give you another example. I got involved in an amazing project at a startup incubator up at the University of Exeter in the UK. And we were raising funds because we were creating a pot of money for young entrepreneurs to stay in the region. I live in a very remote region in the UK, and we just really wanted to retain our talents. I set up a promotional campaign to do this, to support the fundraising activities. I practically set up the whole of the campaign and managed to get quite a fair amount of money coming in. And as I was having my performance review with my manager, do you know what I said? When my manager asked me, can you tell me a little bit more about, what you achieved over the last quarter? I said, well, I helped setting up this campaign. And she looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, Sylvia, I need to correct you. You actually set up the whole of the campaign yourself, ran it and made money. How are you not being able to voice this? And this is exactly what we're talking about today. How was I not able to voice it? And when I participated in a remarkable workshop myself, I suddenly realized I'm my worst enemy. Why am I doing this to myself? So it's all in the way that we got brought up, in the way that we see people react to us achieving something or talking about something that we've achieved. And it's all about, obviously, our personality, modesty norms, or this expectation that women are always helping and potentially supporting people around them. If you look back in your history, you will find all these elements to be true if you have done something like what I've done to myself, to yourselves as well. So remember, accomplishments. So when you start not talking about what you have achieved, when you attribute it to someone else, when you become the best team player in the world by saying that other people other than you have achieved what you have achieved, then they will take that credit, and you will find that some people in the room will actually take it gladly and take the promotion that comes with it. So just remember, accomplishments do not speak for themselves. You have to speak for them. You have to be your best promoter. So why does self-promotion matter? Once again, I've run so many of these workshops, and I myself have found, as I was saying, but I've seen so many women and so many other people cringing at the idea that they had to speak up for themselves. It is essential to our success. As I said to you, if we don't self-promote, we risk falling behind those people who actually do. And we need to learn from them. Obviously, it's almost like a muscle that you have to start flexing and understand how it works. Because I know some people in some of the rooms that where I presented tried and they were like, oh, but I do speak about my achievements, but people seem to just wanting to leave the room as I do that. I seem to be too aggressive. So obviously there's an element of learn from the ones who do, have a look at how they phrase things, and the level of credibility that they get given in the way they do that, and learn from them. But today we're going to learn a little bit how to flex that muscle and take a first step towards it. There's also a study that was run by McKinsey that showed that sometimes women within our own societies are also looking down or frowning upon other women that self-promote. It's for that same reason that I told you my mum was very skeptical about my achievements, and she was downplaying them to a level where it wasn't expected that her daughter would actually work in certain environments. And there are some other women who have been tokenized. So in some environments, so there's a lot of companies, obviously, that are, dedicating finally some of their time to diversity hires in all of their areas. So more women are getting hired, more ethnic representations are getting hired, more diverse groups like LGBTQ representatimes are being hired. That's great. But the risk sometimes is that these individuals get tokenized. And so they're made to be feel exceptional, as in they were hired because they were better than some of their peers. And sometimes they go into a little bit of a spin, like another type, another syndrome, where they feel that there was a reason why them as women, them as like a diversity hire got hired, and that other people within their peer group don't deserve the same treatment. And so they look down on them quite unfavorably. There was a study that was run that was showing that they compared teams run by men and teams run by women, and apparently the women in teams run by women were the ones where women were the least promoted into higher roles, or were being given fewer salary increases. So let's not be our worst enemies. We all have to support each other. And this exercise that I will be running today is meant to be doing that, as in understanding others, understanding that we are amazing humans with amazing potential, and that we need to support each other's self-promotion activities and also recognize each other's achievements. So there's also obviously a lot of other stereotypes that are being attached to women, not just women, but to all individuals across the world. And once again, all of those things that you see on the screen at the moment, race, gender, age, ability, other identity-based stereotypes, can have an impact on our perception about a person's competence and ability. Once again, I'm inviting you to a little bit of a self-reflection. I've done it myself. I'm a middle-aged woman, and I work in digital. And there's a lot of assumptions sometimes around me and my abilities. So I wasn't like a digital native person, and I am a woman. So can I actually understand search engine optimization? Yes, I do. And I've worked in it, and I do understand how to spot technical mistakes that can be done when setting up a website that could potentially make it underperform in search engine result pages. So yes, I can. But sometimes I can see people looking at me skeptically saying, where did you learn all this stuff? It's a fantastic place to be when you can do the job, when you're being given an opportunity to do the job, and when you can talk about it. I do take those questions, and I like to challenge them, and I like to challenge all the age and gender stereotypes that are coming my way. Are you doing that in your day-to-day? And are you helping other people? Are you being the best potential buddy that people could have in terms of facing those issues themselves and giving them the advice and support they might be needing in not feeling bogged down by it, but just challenging it with positive action? So we all have, and I'm not saying that it's other people's fault, say quote unquote, but remember that we all have implicit biases. All of us, we all have our own perception of reality. We all have our own perception of people. Remember that we are not in people's minds, and we can't read minds either. Regardless of how intelligent we think we are, we're all riddled with biases that come, once again, from our cultural background, how we got brought up, our educational background, and all of the experiences that we've had. So we all attach like labels to people. So let's stop doing that, and let's listen more to what they have to say. Equally, let's express that more so that we can understand competencies and abilities. We also have to remember that each underrepresented community has a different experience with self-advocacy. Once again, it's a matter of understanding others, as I was saying to you. Like, just to give you an example, another study that was run recently showed that, for instance, 49% of African-American women was able to self-promote more compared to their Hispanic and white counterparts, where only 30% of women were feeling comfortable with self-promotion. So once again, you might have, a bias that actually would make you think the other way around. So always remember that we all have different experiences, and depending on what goes on in the world as well, affects our ability to be able to talk or raise certain issues within our societies, day-to-day families and friend circles, and also at work. So one of the reasons why I'm here today as well, because the same studies that I have mentioned in terms of like all of the issues that we're coming across are also showing that companies that have actually gone for a diversity hire, companies where the composition of their teams is as varied as possible, have shown higher levels of performance. So companies with women board directors, for instance, have shown a 53% greater performance compared to companies without. And when companies that increased and have actually made their teams more diverse racially and ethnically speaking, have had a 35% increase in their financial returns. So it's not just about, rights and equality. It's about numbers as well. When we're talking about business, it is actually also the bottom line that gets affected by teams that can bring more value to the table and the better understanding of the diverse societies that we're all living and inhabiting at the moment. So if you don't have diversity in your team, how are you going to be able to sell to a diverse society? Are you just going to direct your advertising activities and sales activities, promotional activities to just the one ethnic group within your society? Then you're going to miss out. So there's lots of advantages on a personal level, on a societal level, and on a financial level that we shouldn't really be disregarding. There's obviously then the sad side of the coin, that a lack of inclusion has had real consequences within our societies. And you can see from the numbers on the screen where we have that 47% of LGBTQIA employees experience discrimination at work. So despite obviously companies implementing equality and diversity policies within their own realm, we are still experiencing a high level of discrimination at work anyway. And this is the cost. So $64 billion is the annual cost to companies as a result of having to replace employees who have decided to leave companies because they felt discriminated. I'm saying felt because they were being discriminated. So we need to start thinking about, as I was saying, not just the equal rights that we all have, but also how this is actually impacting us from a business point of view. So having said that, and I would like to give you an opportunity, obviously, to make comments in the comment section about what I have just said, about sharing in your experiences and potentially adding on to, what I have said, details from your own research, from your own experience that I might have missed out on, that will enrich actually our bank of examples of what's actually happening in the world to women and underrepresented groups. However, today, I would like to invite you to, as I was saying, taking that first step towards understanding, so flexing that muscle, understanding how we can self-promote and how we can do it so that we will feel a sense of pride in talking about our achievements. So I'm inviting you to I'm inviting you to grab a piece of paper to begin with. So if you could grab a piece of paper and a pen, if you don't have them handy, it's not a problem at all. You can obviously do it in your own head, start thinking about a couple of examples. I'm inviting you to start thinking about a couple of examples of instances when you felt you had done something remarkable. And I would like you, if you do have a piece of paper handy and you're writing it down, I would like you to write a couple of statements that actually start with the phrase, "I am remarkable because." So I'll give you a couple of seconds, grab a piece of paper or maybe open up a tab on your computer and start typing, "I am remarkable because." Now, I'll give you a couple of examples where I feel that I'm remarkable because despite my age and gender, I was able to break some of the barriers and go into the career that I had always dreamt of, in terms of like working in digital and ending up delivering amazing sessions for the Google Digital Garage and more, and work in entrepreneurship. So feel incredibly proud. So think about it. A career or professional achievement, but also on the personal side, I am remarkable because despite COVID posing so many hurdles in front of me, so posing so many threats to my career, so to what I had built over the years, some of the things that I was doing before COVID have gone. Despite that, I picked myself up, was able to put together a program for a university that I'm incredibly proud of, which involved creative writing. So I tapped into my creativity and something that I love doing in my spare time, something that I took a degree in, and turned it into a learning experience for students at the University of Exeter who were struggling with their mental health because they couldn't go to Italy to study Italian. So I set up this course for them to be able to write, go into a fantasy world, expand their imagination, and potentially leave the four walls that they had been forced into for at least a couple of hours or 4 hours a week with me. And the feedback that I received was amazing in terms of, and not amazing for me, amazing for them. They wrote beautiful short stories. And those short stories were published by Milan City of Literature as a consequence of how beautiful they were and when they were written. So I've given you a couple of examples. There's tons more. And I'm sure that within your private lives, like I'm also feeling remarkable because I was able to be present for my parents despite being in a completely different country, not being able to see them for 2 years. We celebrated milestones over WhatsApp, and that was still amazing. It's just remembering every week to check in on them and making sure that they were fine emotionally. So use the comment section and write down on a piece of paper why you're remarkable. And so I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it, and then we'll move on to the next activity. And as you're thinking, I would like to share the beautiful unremarkable statement that Ngozi made in my comment section. Ngozi said, "I'm remarkable because I'm performing well as an office furniture manufacturer, as a woman, doing great stuff in a male-dominated space." Fantastic. So congratulations, Ngozi. That was an amazing achievement and still is. So well done. Fantastic. And you should take pride in it. Brilliant. So I'll give you another couple of minutes to write down for yourselves your unremarkable statements. Great. Fantastic. So now that you've written down at least a couple of statements, I want you to start reflecting about how that made you feel. As I was voicing out my first unremarkable statements, I remember I was sitting in a room full of people, and these people were my wonderful Google Digital Garage colleagues. So very accomplished people, amazing people. And all I could think of in my head was, I just really want to make a good impression on these people instead of thinking about what actually was important to me. And one of my colleagues who was sitting next to me was so able to tap into his own experience that I felt incredibly inspired. But the first impression, the first feeling that I had was this block of like, I felt emotionally challenged inside. I still struggled. I kept struggling thinking about some stuff that I thought I was remarkable for, because I got brought up in an environment where achieving is the norm, as in you have to achieve, you have to be good at school. I had to be good at university. Everything had to go well. I had to practice sports, and I had to be always be doing my best. So that was my family culture. You always have to strive for the best, and that's, you know, your minimum bar. So that was the bar set so high that I didn't feel anything that I had done was an achievement. So that was my first hurdle. And the second one was just like literally being able to write it down, as in, oh, and then recognize it. So what that made me feel was a sense of like impotence in recognizing my own achievements. And thankfully, the person sitting next to me was able to sort of like give me a little bit of a nudge and say, hey, you know, like there's lots of stuff that you must have done in your life that you must have taken pride in. So reflect now on what, you know, how this made you feel. So how did it make you feel writing down? So reread your statements to yourselves and think about how that makes you feel. Because when you'll find yourself in a room full of people, and these people are not your peers, but it's your manager that you're talking to, it's a boardroom that you're talking to, it's members, higher up members, you know, within your society or your workplace that you're talking to. So are you having, you know, a Christmas party or a New Year's Eve party with colleagues? Are you celebrating milestones with colleagues? Are you, you know, cheering? You know, are you sharing a glass of wine with them as you're celebrating? And what do you say to them? Was it everybody else's achievement, or was it yours as well? So what are you sharing with them, and how would you feel sharing those thoughts is incredibly important. So reflect upon that. Feel free to share how just writing down these two statements made you feel, and share it in the comment sections if you can. So if you can type in the comment section how just writing down these two statements, or three, or maybe even more, made you feel, that would be fantastic and would help everybody else understand how sometimes, once again, we can be our worst enemies. And my colleague Benedict, who's moderating, will be able to see your comments in the chat section, and will be able to send them across to me so that I can share them with the room. So how did it make you feel when you were writing down those couple of sentences? Did you struggle like me, or did it just flow? Some of you might say, well, it just flew. Like I started thinking of all these great things that I've done, and it just came as a tsunami wave. Sorry, maybe not the best parallelism, but hopefully. But for me, as I was saying, it was almost like a block. And it was just through the background that I had, family background, where achieving was the norm. That's the minimum that you have to do, Sylvia. Fantastic. Oh, I've got like wonderful comments here. Let me just take a look at a few of them. So here we are. I can see Helen saying, sadly, age is such a barrier in my country, Nigeria, almost insurmountable. Understand that. Same in Italy, Helen. We've got like women my age practically professionally dead. It's incredible, and that's where we have to fight against this prejudice. Lebo, you were saying, how do we build websites and domains to promote Commonwealth business women? I think that there will be probably a session about this. Then we have Miranda saying it's always important to share knowledge and insights. Absolutely. I can see in Tikane, I'm remarkable because I'm active in bringing positive attitude to farmers in my community, regardless of how the low economy and COVID, I have managed to create groups where we capacitate young women. Well done. That's amazing. And forgive me, please correct me if I'm mispronouncing any names. I do apologize in advance. Claire, I'm remarkable because I follow my passion in every venture I work with. Fantastic. Passion. One of those words. I love the word passion. I don't know how you feel about that. Sometimes it's used in an incredibly positive exception. And I always see it as being a positive, very active word. Sometimes I got called a passionate Italian because I'm so straightforward that sometimes in the culture where I'm working, it might not be 100% appreciated. So how we're using these words as well carries such an importance. Let's have a look. Bernadette, thanks for your greetings. And I'm remarkable because I have managed to be me and pursue my dreams without boundaries. Well done. Absolutely. And I would like to cheer all of those of you who have shared in the comment section. So the following exercise, and I'm going to read a few more as you're filling in the comment section even more. So I would like to invite even those of you who haven't shared yet, if you can add in the comment section why you think you're remarkable, and you can add one statement or two statements, up to you. I'll carry on reading these amazing experiences. I'm remarkable, and Tikwane says, because as civil service employee, I'm still having time to teach women about their role in politics and in community. So important. And this is why I've decided to become an unremarkable facilitator, exactly in the same way as you're finding the time to share and the time to teach women within your community skills that they might be needing. I really want to spread the word about this initiative as much as I can. Lebo, I'm remarkable because as a professional, I have attracted 35 billion to rejuvenate Johannesburg inner city. Amazing. That's much bigger than whatever I've ever achieved in terms of fundraising. That's incredible. So well done. Ada, I'm a great woman that makes things happen. A woman that founded Jovita Patrick's Nigerian Ltd that deals on safety gears, industrial uniforms, essential oils, founder of an association of women entrepreneurs as well. Congratulations, well done, absolutely. And I would like to invite you to cheer in the achievements of all of you, because this is what we have to do, support each other. And Temilola says, I'm remarkable because I am remarkable. I absolutely love that. And you definitely are. And I'm 100% sure that you are hugely remarkable in everything that you do. Hassana says, I'm remarkable because I'm a game changer, both at work and within my community. This is fantastic. So well done to all of you for your amazing achievements. And continue sharing, because all other people participating in this live stream will be able to see how remarkable you all are and take inspiration from your actions. And potentially, that's one of the things that we're missing in our societies nowadays. It is female role models that will be confident enough to talk about what they've done and how they have achieved what they have achieved. So the other day I was watching Stephen Bartlett. I don't know if you know him. He's an amazing British entrepreneur. He was interviewing Anne Bowden, who was the founder of Starling, the first online bank, competing with Monzo, and within the UK. And I couldn't stop watching that interview. This was a middle-aged woman, so a woman in her 60s, telling all women like ourselves all the barriers that she had to break down in order to be able to raise funding to make this dream happen, and how stubborn she was at wanting it to happen and the vision that she had, and how she just really couldn't care about doors being slammed in her face. She just carried on, and she's the woman that she is now. I will invite you to watch that interview, because it's a true inspiration for all women, entrepreneurial women or not, but women in business will definitely find that of use. And she's become one of my role models. My newest one, I've got plenty. So we need to be able to inspire each other so that we'll know who to look up to and how to model our behaviors, so that in our day-to-day and in our careers, we'll be able to achieve what we want, not necessarily what they have achieved, but what we want and what we rate as being our dream, our achievements. So, in this exercise, so when I do this, not through a live streaming, but in person, I would actually invite everybody to share in person. It's one of those intimidating moments where you are thinking about more other people's perception than yourself. So my invitation to you is to try and share this with a person sitting next to you. Next time you have a meeting, bring with you your unremarkable statements and practice them with this person. It could be your manager. It could be a person that you're working closely with. It could be your family. Try and voice these achievements. And during the live streaming sessions, and this is something that I actually do every year now, my New Year's resolution is to write myself a postcard full of unremarkable statements. And I address that postcard to myself. So I do it at the beginning of December. I write them down, then post it close to New Year's Eve, so that on New Year's Day, I take a look at my postcard and remember what I have done. Another way of me remembering in my achievements is that, especially obviously during COVID times, we're working from home, so we don't actually have that many experience with working with others. So what I do is that whenever something fills me with joy on a professional level, on a personal level, I share it on LinkedIn with my professional network. That is a little bit of a shout out to my network in terms of I've done this and I'm incredibly proud of it. So it could obviously resonate in when it comes to potentially that appraisal or being promoted, because all of my colleagues will be able to see that. Yeah, they're all on LinkedIn. And it has actually brought me a lot of opportunities of people reaching out to me through the private chat functionalities on LinkedIn, asking me about those experiences and whether I would want to collaborate with them. So do that. Shout it out. Tell everybody else, but especially start telling yourself how great you are. So one of the other invitations that I have for you is, now that you have shared it with the community who is attending this live stream, how did that make you feel? As I said to you, the thought of sharing to begin with made me feel really, really, really emotional to begin with. And then I was feeling like that people would cringe at listening to me become so proud, or so sharing something so private. So about myself. So how did that make you feel? Because when I voiced my achievements in a room full of colleagues, after I did it, I had two feelings. One was because all my colleagues obviously were cheering for me as I was saying it, was a sense of empowerment, a sense of community, because we were all cheering each other, but also a sense that I wanted to say other things as well. I wanted to share more. So how did it make you feel? If you can share it in the comment section, and then Benedict will collect some of your comments, and I would like to read them out loud to the wider audience as well. So share those feelings with me. How did it make you feel thinking about your achievement and sharing them with the wider audience here during this live streaming session? Lovely. Thank you, Benedict. So, and just remember, there's no right, no wrong. As I was saying to you, we all have our own experiences, and we all have been brought up in different ways, and we all face different day to day. So as I was saying to you, my experience doesn't have to be yours. And I've come across incredibly confident women that I'm trying to model myself against, as I was saying. So happy to hear from you if you're also, a person who's really good at self-promoting, and please give us tips. Share your tips with us, as in how can we make sure once we know that next time we're sitting in a boardroom, giving a presentation, we can give out that sense of confidence. That there's a piece of research that also shows that people from ethnic minorities and women normally tends to get talked over more easily by their colleagues as they are presenting or as they are, giving their contribution in boardrooms. And it doesn't necessarily happen to the male's counterparts, although I have to say I've come across quite a lot of men as well who have found that their personality was a little bit more introverted and they were feeling exactly the same. So, Ngozi, thanks very much for sharing again. So Ngozi says that it gave her a sense of confidence, almost as if it were like a superpower. Thank you so much, Ngozi. That's just, I love the how you defined a superpower. It is a superpower. And Benedict, I'm struggling to see the comments. It's not appearing in the document. So I do apologize, like having a little bit of a technical glitch myself. I'm going to refresh my document and see if I can see that. Oh, there it is. I can see that. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Benedict. Claire is saying, I felt settled, happy and proud of what I'm always emerging to be. I believe the greatest journey has just been but started. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Claire, for sharing. Ada, I feel passionate, proud and fulfilled, and have a sense of responsibility, having known that I impacted lives daily. I impact lives daily to those that need it the most. Fantastic. Ada, I feel passionate, proud and fulfilled, a sense of responsibility, having known that I impact lives daily to those that need it most. Brilliant. Temlola, I didn't share any of mine, but this week has just shown me once more that women have truly achieved amazing things, like the woman who raised over 35 billion. Fantastic. So you can see how we can inspire other women to feel proud of themselves and to achieve as much as we have. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing in your experience, Temlola. Ada, helping people but buttresses my God-given confidence, which I have never lacked from the start. Fantastic. So we all have to take inspiration from you as well. Josephine, sharing my unremarkable makes me feel more self-confident and assertive. Absolutely fantastic. That's great. I love running these sessions because they always leave me with a sense of happiness and uplift at the end of them. So I would like you, as I was saying, to try and remember what you've done today, and keep thinking about, how you can, how it would make you feel if you were to say it out loud. So practice this muscle with the people around you, and support others who promote themselves in the workplace. And think about whether in the past you have felt comfortable sharing your achievements, and whether this exercise has changed anything for you in the approach that you'll have in the future. So advocacy matters because when people advocate for themselves and when you advocate for others, you can then attribute ideas correctly. So if in a boardroom you're talking about an amazing idea that a colleague had, please mention their name. I do it all the time. I'm not the only person who can come up with good ideas, but if I'm the only person in the boardroom, I will make sure that this person gets acknowledged. So acknowledge accomplishments. Once again, if you're in charge of people, or if you are, even like on a peer-to-peer level, just make sure that you congratulate people on their achievements. Tell them, well done, I'm happy for you. And ask questions. Continue asking questions to people so that you can get to know them better and understand who they are. Don't work on assumptions. Don't look at people in the face and think that you know what they're capable of. You will never know until you get them to do something. So I would like to leave you with a couple of thoughts in terms of, if you found today refreshing, if you found this session useful, please continue to spread the word. Please continue practicing. So you could decide to set up a Remarkable Wednesday, for instance, with a group of friends or within your company. Or if you already have set up like groups, activity groups, or working groups within your company, how about running an Unremarkable Wednesday when you introduce them to the concept that I have introduced you to today, and facilitate a session so that everybody will be able to speak up for themselves and share in an achievement every Wednesday. So practice, as I was saying, phrasing and expressing 2 or 3 professional accomplishments with friends and colleagues or your manager or yourself. As I was saying, like I'm sending, I've already got it ready, to be honest with you. I will be sending my Unremarkable postcard in a few weeks' time to myself. And then track your achievements. As I said to you, I do it on LinkedIn. I like going back onto my LinkedIn page and have a look at the posts that I've put up there and remember what the year brought me and how satisfied I was, especially on those, like we all have bad days, don't we? On those bad days when you're like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit down because maybe someone hasn't been particularly good with you. On that day, I normally tend to go onto LinkedIn and read again. Well, that day I did a voiceover direction with the dubbing actor of Jennifer Aniston's voice for the Italian market, and then suddenly remember how happy I was during this session. Act and review. So share your accomplishments in a real professional situation. Sometimes I run workshops and people then practice with their friends and colleagues, but don't do it with their managers. So always make sure that you're practicing it in a professional environment as well as in your personal lives, so that when it comes to being acknowledged for the work that you're doing and maybe to get that promotion that you really wanted, you will get it for certain. Well, I can't guarantee 100%, but you will be more likely to get it. And set a stretch goal. So use your self-promotion skills to achieve a career goal that you set for yourself. I've done that. One day, I decided to set that goal for myself, and it's still there. And I'm stretching that goal. I'm flexing my muscles, my promotional muscles, because it's about to happen. So I run, I am a consultant and I want to start a consultancy firm, and work is coming in now for me to be able to start hiring other people. And that was my goal, and still is, because I'm not there yet. But what I'm doing and networking and the way I'm speaking to people and the way I am telling them what I'm capable of and what my company would be capable of doing for them, now that I know how to do that, it's actually producing results. So what's your goal? Share that in the comments as well, so that everybody can see the goal that you're trying to achieve, and we'll all be there cheering for you. And maybe, because this is a wonderful networking session, someone might even have a tip, a contact, or maybe even a contract for you, or you can exchange business cards. So do that. And that's all I had. If you have any questions, again, use the comment section to ask questions about Unremarkable, the activity, anything else that you would like to know about. I'm pretty sure that if I can't address that question and it's a question about the event itself, Nana and Gozi will be able to give you the answer, as they will take over the stage again. But if you could give me your feedback of how you think this session went, and if you're happy with Unremarkable as an initiative that is now being delivered globally, can you please either scan that QR code or go onto Google /Unremarkable survey. So the link that you can see there, you will have to input my facilitator's ID, which is S for Sierra or S for Sylvia, my name, 144873. So if you scan that code, and if you could give us feedback on what you thought about the session, how we can make it even better for everybody and all the communities that we're trying to reach out to, please do it by using either that URL or the QR code. And once again, my facilitator ID is S144873. And I've got a little video that I would like to share with you, and hopefully it will stream fine. But before, I would like you to, if you want to spread the word about Unremarkable, we do have a hashtag. So hashtag Unremarkable. You can use that hashtag to shout out about the initiative or the experience that you had today and start self-promoting. If you want to promote this exercise within your organizations and amongst your colleagues and peers and partners, please stay in touch with the Google Digital Garage. Nana and Gozi as well can take your details and pass them on, and stay connected with us. We do have a LinkedIn group as well that you can stay connected with. So as I was saying, I would like to share that video with you as a closing activity, and also have a look at how what an amazing impact we have actually achieved through this initiative. So with over 250,000 workshop participants, 8,000 facilitators like myself all over the world who are spreading the word. We're operating in more than 150 countries. And as a result of this workshop, so we checked on people, and 3 months after participating in one of the workshops, 49% of the participants experienced a job or career growth, 82% felt more confident as a result of it, and 89% are self-promoting a little bit more often, which is fantastic. So hopefully this has been an inspiration for you, and I'll leave you with these wonderful words.
Please write down your answer to I'm remarkable because.
So I'm remarkable because.
It's really hard. Okay, I'm done.
How did it feel to write it?
Weird. Hard.
Would you mind reading it out loud?
Oh my God. I'm remarkable. I'm remarkable because all the kids that I have taught actually love me, and they still remember me till this day.
After I turned 40, for the first time in my life, I also tried things that I'm not very good at.
I can rhyme really well, but don't ask me to right now.
I'm funny. I think I am.
I follow my dreams once I figure them out.
I am remarkable because I challenge myself every day, even if these are small challenges.
Because I want my life to have meaning.
I'm remarkable because I survived cancer when I was 17.
Because I'm optimistic.
When I'm in tough situations, I stop and I smile.
I'm a pretty good mom. Like, I think I'm really doing a good job.
That's it.
So how did it feel to say it out loud?
It felt kind of nice to say it out loud.
Pretty good.
I think it's easier to say why we're not doing that well, to criticize ourselves.
You feel like you may have only one or two things to say, and then you realize that you have more, and you have more.
There's so many great things going on that when I forget it, all I have to do is think about these things, and then it's like a chiropractic adjustment in my mood. It's like,
It makes you think like, what else can I do?
And I always well up when I watch this video. So I'm doing it again today. Every single session I run, even if I know the video almost by heart, I always feel emotional. And so I just really wanted to thank you for being incredibly remarkable today, for sharing in your experiences, and for being here with me today and sharing those experiences with me. So I feel empowered by your experiences, and very privileged to have been part of this session today, and having had the chance, obviously, to meet you, even if remotely. So thank you very much. As you can see, I'm really, really emotional at the moment. So thanks very much for being with us today, and carry on being this remarkable.
what can we say? Sylvia, you got us there. It was a brilliant session, and we are so moved by all that you have said today. I mean, it's been a great day for the women of CBWN, and we are indeed grateful to this team. Everybody has to start somewhere. Most women truly lack confidence and have faced rookie moments, from most common phobias of fear of public speaking to when we are on the cusp of personal growth and where we feel most vulnerable. The I am a remarkable and confident woman has indeed taught us that in those moments we have to fight the impulse to be defensive. Be your own promoter. Remember, the sticky situations will no longer be a problem, especially when we have to step out of our comfort zone. We have learned that uncomfortable experiences often lead to rewarding outcomes, even if it feels awkward and challenging at the time. Change is an inevitable part of life. Adapting to it requires agility, an open mind, and the courage to think outside the box. Thank you, Sylvia Paloski. Thank you. Today, our confidence is up, and we are indeed inspired. Google has truly come to the great women of CBWN Africa and the Commonwealth states. So women will still stay back. We have some more, and then Anthony Emebo will now take us on to the training of how to use all Sylvia has said and to put it in action. Thank you very much. Over to you, Anthony Emebo.
Hi everyone, welcome back. And I would say that was indeed a very powerful and remarkable session from Sylvia. I at some point got really emotional as well, and I'll tell you, I have taken part in an remarkable session. I took part in one earlier this year, but coming back for this one, I mean, it did hit differently, and oops, I could do with some tears, I would say. So that was a very powerful session from Sylvia, and also a very powerful and amazing introduction from Nana as well. So on this particular presentation, my job would be to walk you through how you can now build your brand and sell online. Like Ngozi rightly mentioned, this is now just put into practice everything Sylvia just shared with you. I believe by now everyone's confidence level should be above 100%, right? So if your confidence level is 100% or above, just give me 100 on the chat. So if your confidence level after the previous session by Sylvia is above 100%, because we need that for this. We need that before you can build your brand and actually sell online. So confidence level above 100%, please go to the chat and, just give me 100. Let's do this before we proceed. Sylvia delivered an amazing session, very powerful one, and we are going to be building the blocks on what she has already delivered. So I believe everyone's confidence session has skyrocketed, and we are all confident going about our businesses, going about whatever we do, our respective careers, sharing our achievements, sharing, milestones, goals we've achieved, and every of that. This is very, very important. And I would also tell my own story and a different story, another story as well. So I don't know if you all have heard of the rule of 250. There's this thing called the rule of 250. The rule of 250. Now, this was developed by someone who has been tagged as one of the greatest salesperson ever in the Guinness Book of Record. So this is actually a car salesperson, and I'll tell you a story. He went on to a funeral planning home, and he asked them, the organizers, how do you know the number of IVs, invitations you should print out? And the organizer just said, yeah, we'll print out 250. And it was like, oh, pretty much interesting. He got on and met another wedding, wedding event planner, birthday event planner, and he asked the event planner, how do you know the number of invitations to print for, a wedding or a birthday? And the person still went on to say 250. Now, this car salesperson sat back and reflected. Seems like everyone knows at least or has a network of at least 250 people. And you know what the car salesperson did? He went on to say, okay, if I can treat every single one of my customers right, because it's becoming evident that they have at least 250 people in their network. So if I can treat every one of them right, everyone who buys a car from me or every sale I close, I'll make sure I keep in touch with the customer. I'll make sure I build relationship with the person, because it's already has this network of 250 people. So he went on to do this, and the rest is history. Building relationships, because everyone came up with the rule of 250. Building relationships with already existing customers who he believes already have networks of over 250 people. At the end of the day, he went on to become one of the greatest salesperson in the history of sales, I would say. And this is verifiable. You can as well Google the rule of 250. Why am I saying this? It's very, very important to share your achievements, and it's very, very equally important as well to do what? To build relationships as well with your customers, already existing clients, because most times you're all carried away with new customers. The business, referral is a whole game changer. I would ask you, if you were to buy something now, what are you likely going to do? You'll look for referrals, you'll look for someone within your network, or maybe you want to enroll your child in a school. You'd likely ask people within your network, what's the best school around? You're new in an area, you'd likely rely on your network, people you know within that area. What's the best school around this area? I myself am someone who's very, very big on building relationships and talking about my experience, talking about milestones, goals, everything I achieve. immediately after this session, I'm equally going to go about on LinkedIn to make a buzz and shout about it. So any single achievement, milestone, you mustn't wait till you get to the goal. So far, you're having milestones, building towards that goal. Share the milestones, share the experience. Sometimes equally share the challenges as well. For myself, recently, I would say, just a couple of days ago, I got invited to speak. I mean, I would say it's one of my biggest speaking engagements, to speak at an event organized by digital economy in my country. So I was looking, I still have the bulletin for the event by the side here. And in front, you'd have the minister, the permanent secretary, all the directors in the ministry. And I have my own image right there. And I'm like, how did I get here? I'll tell you, to even get invited to the event, it was someone who referred me. And how did the person, what made the person think about me? Because I always share my story. I always share my experience. So whenever anyone is thinking of, okay, speaking engagement, training, Tony is the one who comes to mind. So at the end of this session today, I want you to start, posting about your achievements, sharing about what you do. Like a friend of mine would always say, be shameless about the hustle. Give it 1 year, you'd come back with your success stories. I have a whole lot of success stories, just thanks to myself going on social media, going on LinkedIn, going on Instagram, all networks, I would say, to promote myself. So if there's going to be a take home at the end of this session, it's going to be for every 1 year to, be shameless about the hustle, try as much as possible to share your achievements, share the journey, share the milestones, and the achievements in general. So diving into the session on building your brand and selling online, of course, it's delivered right in partnership with the Commonwealth Business Women's Network. We're partnering with them on this, and we've already had that amazing and powerful I Am Remarkable section. Now moving to the business side of things on how you can build your brand and, of course, make more sales online. So yeah, that's what we want, right? For the business to grow, you need to make more sales. If it's a service that you're offering, of course, you need more bookings as well. So that's basically what we're going to be looking at in this presentation. And just a quick rundown on the agenda. It's split into three. So this presentation, 3 sections. And at the end of each section, I will be taking a quick pause, to look at some of the questions you have. And we're going to be starting with learning how to establish your brand online, looking at some of the statistics we have and why it's very, very important to take your business online or build a credible online presence. And then we'll move over to how you can develop your e-commerce offering, different channels available for you to leverage when it comes to, taking your product or maybe your services online as well. And wrapping it up with utilizing, social media is like the icing on the cake. Everyone loves social media. So utilizing social media to drive sales. And I'm also going to say this, irrespective of, age or whatever background you have, this is something that is doable. Like the country director, replace limiting beliefs with empowering beliefs. So if you've been thinking, I cannot use social media, I'm 60, this is not something I should be doing, replace that with an empowering belief of how can I do this? What courses should I take? What seminars, what networking events should I attend? How can I do this? So irrespective of background, demographic, wherever you're coming from, this is something you can do for yourself. And as business owners, I would always advise, it's good to learn these things, because if you do not learn it and apply them yourself, you're actually going to go out and pay marketers to do this for you. And that's what additional costs. So this is something 100% learnable, and it's not in any way difficult. So let's dive right into it. Before I do so, there's this very, very amazing opportunity. It's new, it's exciting, and it's the free one-to-one mentoring available from Google. So wherever you're joining the session from Africa, once you sign up for this program, you are going to get matched with a mentor. And by a mentor, I mean a digital marketing and digital skills expert. So Google is going to match you with a mentor, and the mentor is going to have, 5 different sessions with you, all for free, all geared towards, empowering you and making sure you have, the necessary skills, or just helping you navigate, these challenging times, or taking your business online to actually achieve your goals. So it's you, it's one-on-one, it's 100% personalized. No one is going to be there. It's just yourself and the mentor. and it's 100% free. So I'm going to be popping the link right there on chat. I would advise everyone to, grab this opportunity as soon as possible. So you have the link right there on chat. Please register, but here maybe register after the session. So let's proceed with this. So after the session, try as much as possible to jump on this opportunity. We have these experts waiting from you from different parts of Africa. So whatever country you're joining from, be rest assured that we have a mentor from that region or the country to actually work with you and ensure that you hit your milestones and of course hit your business goals. So moving on, this session is going to be, I would like it to be very much engaging. So I'm proceed. And I'd love to have your questions as well. Asking questions is a huge part of learning. So try as much as possible. If anything is confusing, there are no wrong, there's no awkward questions so far as related to what we're offering. I understand we would have people coming from, different level of understanding. So if this is something that is totally new to you, do not feel shy or intimidated to ask any question. There is no awkward question so far as related to what we're doing today. And also, it's important to say that whenever I ask a question, there is no wrong answer. We just have contributions. I would choose not to call them answers today. We have contributions, we do not have answers. So if there's any question you see pop up, feel free to engage. I'm not looking out for the best answer. I'm just looking out for the contributions. Let's engage. This is also going to help me tailor the content, to meet you at your particular point of need. So I want to know, how do you currently market your business? How do you currently market your business? Do you use, online digital channels? Do you use, do you rely on word of mouth marketing? Do you use traditional means of marketing? How do you currently market, I would say promote your business? How do you currently market your business? Benedict is on chat right there to engage with you. Just going to proceed and look out for those contributions while they come in. Now diving into the very first section in this presentation, which is establishing your brand online. We're going to be looking at some of the numbers, statistics on how e-commerce is doing in Africa and why you should take your business online, and not just take it online, do it the right way, of course. So always another question: what benefits are brought to your business by going online? Your own business, what benefits do you think you could gain by taking that business online? Now I'll rephrase this and say it's not just by going online, but going online and doing the right thing. Because it's one thing to have a social media presence. It's another thing to know, the best practices, know how to develop a social media strategy, which we're still going to be looking at today. It's one thing to, just be online and have a presence. And it's another thing to, know how to leverage these platforms, doing the right things to achieve your goal. I have a PC in front of me right here. If I do not know what to do with this PC, it's totally useless to me. If I do not know how to navigate, what to do with the keyboards, it's totally useless to me. So being on social media, taking your business online, it's going to be futile if you do not learn the best practices and how to create strategies in order to achieve that business goal of yours. So what benefits do you think are brought to your business when you take it online? Taking a business online, what benefit do you think you would get from taking that business online? Here's why businesses are going online. Now let's take a look at some of the numbers. 1.79 billion people shopped online last year. 1.79 billion people shopped online last year. Also, 97% learn more about a business online than anywhere else. 97% learn more about a business online than anywhere else. Also doubles, this could also double for a personal brand. So Sylvia just finished an amazing presentation. I can assure, I believe that most of you are just going to go on Google and likely search for Sylvia. So if you want to learn more about your business, what are you likely going to do? You go online and search. If that business doesn't have any online presence, it leaves a bad taste. So more and more people, it's almost 100%, more and more people, 97% of people learn more about a business online than anywhere else. Also, 95% of purchases would be through e-commerce by 2040. 95% of purchases will be through e-commerce by 2040. I would also say that COVID, the pandemic, has accelerated this. People were at home, for months, for weeks, during the lockdown, and having to rely only on, going online and buying and channels available. So habits behavior patterns are already changing, and all this is very much accelerated by COVID. 95% of purchases will be through e-commerce by 2040. Now, if you want to keep relying on, having that brick and mortar store and expecting that in the next 10, 20 years, more and more people are going to keep visiting the store, I'm sorry to tell you that it's declining. Store visits are really, really declining. And there's something I always love saying: taking your business online. If you do not do this, if you do not take your business online, you risk going extinct. You risk going extinct. So take a look at this again. 95% of purchases will be through e-commerce by 2040. Here's why businesses are using the internet. You could use the internet to sell products, of course. You buy products, of course, as a business. Maybe you're into production. You head over to the internet and search for suppliers. You could buy products as well. Businesses use the internet to advertise, reach more people, reach more and more people, reach more customers, and also research competition. There is no way you would want to, you have a store, let's say you're a baker, you have this very nice bakery, and your competitor is just the other side of the road, and every day you're going to have to go to the front or the storefront of your competitor and you're taking a look at how many customers are going in, what do they have in store, what's this mean? It doesn't work that way anymore. It's really awkward. So businesses also use the internet to research competition, see what they are doing, and see how you can improve on it. It's not copying. I mean, it's always good to be different, have a unique selling proposition, or have something that makes you stand out from your competition. Saying what your competitors are doing, you are actually not doing that for the sole purpose of copying them. You're doing that for the sole purpose of improving on whatever it is they are actually doing. Building an online presence is essentially very, very important, especially in this increasingly digital age. It is very, very essential for businesses to have an online presence today, be it a website, be it an e-commerce platform, or a social media page. It's very, very essential for businesses to have an online presence. So it could be a mix of the three. You have an e-commerce platform, you also have a website, or the e-commerce platform could also double as your website, and you have a social media page. You have a presence on online directories, and the list goes on. So you have a presence on Google My Business as well. The list goes on. It's becoming an increasingly digital age. Look at the Gen Zs. Look at the TikTok generation. I would say everyone. I mean, they are picking these things up very early. So in the next 5, 10 years, 20 years, I mean, everything, buying, getting a service, everything is likely going to be done on digital channels. So it's moving really, really fast. These are the different types of platforms you as a business owner can leverage when it comes to taking your business online. You have your own website. Now, this is your very own, website. It's also essential you do this. I mean, recently there was this outage by, one of the leading tech giants, and I saw a lot of people, panicking. Wow, what if this doesn't come back? What happens? So always advisable to have your own, this is your very own channel, your own website, social media platforms, which you would refer to as a rented digital media space, social media platform, online business directories. Very, very important, especially if you have a B2B, you are serving businesses. E-commerce platforms as well, which is a big game changer. And most times you do not even need to build yours. You might just actually leverage on already existing e-commerce platforms, and it's done. E-commerce in Africa is booming. It's booming. There are about 400 million internet users in Africa, second only to China. I'm not just saying numbers here, I'm saying opportunities. 400 million internet users in Africa, second only to China. Think about this. I mean, if there was an expo in your community and you heard, 1,000 people are going to be coming up to that expo, what do you think immediately? Wow, 1,000 people. My customers might likely be there. So you maybe rent a space or get a booth at the expo, and you take your products or whatever it is you're offering to the expo. Now you're seeing that 400 million people use the internet in Africa, second only to China. What are you seeing? Now, for myself, I'm seeing opportunities, a whole lot of opportunities for businesses to leverage. E-commerce in Africa accounted for 10% of retail sales with an estimated value of 75 billion or it will account to 10% of retail sales with an estimated value of 75 billion by 2025. 75 billion by 2025. I mean, Migos is likely going to be having, maybe 10 billion from this 75 billion by 2025. So what chunk do you want to get out of this? For myself, I think I'm just going to focus on e-commerce very, very seriously. I mean, because 75 billion by 2025, I mean, that's a whole lot. So think about this, reflect, what chunk do you want your business to get from this? $16.5 billion was generated in e-commerce in 2017. $16.5 billion in revenue was generated from e-commerce in 2017. Now that's at the past. 2017, $16.5 billion. How many did your business get from this? Now that's something at the past. Look at the future, 75 billion. You should have a large chunk there, of course. So there are various e-commerce platforms for you to leverage. A whole lot of people come and they think, yeah, I need to create a website immediately. Now, remember while I was mentioning platforms, I said you could use a mix of all, or you could use just a few. If you are maybe into retail, e-commerce platforms, already existing e-commerce platforms are a good channel. They are good channels for you to leverage. You do not need to, you might not necessarily have to build your own. You could get on Amazon immediately, have your product listed there. You could get on Kunga. You could also get on Jumia. Jumia is very popular in most countries across Africa. Get on these platforms. We refer to these platforms in marketing as pull marketing channels. Pull marketing channels. Now, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Your social media channels are just push marketing channels. And ideally, your social media channels are just to create awareness. Social media channels, that's place where, everyone wants to just go and sell. It's just a channel to create an awareness around your product. Now, don't get it twisted. By creating awareness around your product, it's likely going to lead to sales. Ask yourself this question. The day you signed up on a social media platform, did you sign up to buy anything? Did you sign up to connect with a business? Nope. You sign up to connect with friends and families as well. E-commerce platforms, these platforms are pull marketing channels. Your social media platforms are just, to create that awareness. And if sales would come, fine. Sales is not coming. You can't blame the channels, because the purpose is to do what? Create awareness. So these channels, if you get on Jumia, you likely want to buy something. If you get on Amazon, you're looking for something to buy. The intention is there already. And some of these channels are very easy to, get on with. You could talk to some of their sales representatives and you sign up. You could also advertise with them. And when people search, your product is listed right there on top. I know a whole lot of business owners who are making a lot from this. Kilimall, we have Bid or Buy. We also have Gigi.ng, very popular in Nigeria. All these are different e-commerce platforms that business owners can leverage. It could be that there's a new growing e-commerce platform in your country, where depending on where you're joining from, try as much as possible to talk to them. You could send them a mail, see how you can list your product there. This is a game changer. I know a lot of business owners who are killing it with just leveraging these channels, and they do not have to rely on any other form of advertising. Everyday calls keep coming in for orders, and that's what we want for every business owner right here today. Online business directories, these are also great channels to use, especially if your business is in the B2B model, you're serving businesses. We have Yellow Pages of Africa business pages, some of the online business directories you could leverage. It's just a directory where you list your business, and businesses there are categorized by different sectors and niche, location, country, size, different levels of categorization there. But online business directories are also great channels to list your business. And it's easy as well. For some of them, we have Africa business pages. I think this one, you just need to register your business, put in your contact details. Of course, you want to be contacted, your business sector. This is going to help you show up, because most people are likely they do not know your business. They will likely come and search for furniture producing companies, or furniture producers, or cake makers in Nigeria, or XYZ. They come and search for that. So it's very, very important to key in your industry as well. I'm just going to pop in a link right here on chat, so you could check that out if you want to leverage some of these online business directories. Africa business pages is a good way to start. So you could register your business, put in your contact details. Remember, it's very important to also key in or put in the business sector and country and region, of course, because most people would actually search using the filter options. Social media, I mean, that's like the icing on the cake. We are going to be discussing this in the last and final section, so I'm not going to spend so much time on this. We already know how to sign up on social media, add pictures, create your username and business details. In case I forget to say this at the last part, I'm just going to drop it right here. A whole lot of people get to social media and they focus on what we call the vanity metric. You are focusing on likes, you're focusing on, it's good, yeah, I know it makes you feel good, yeah, when someone comes and likes, you know, your post or the product you're actually putting out. But for starters, if you keep focusing on this, it's going to discourage you, because businesses would likely not get, you wouldn't get a whole lot of likes and engagement on social media, I would always say. So never ever focus on that. You see the name already, vanity metrics. Never focus on that. And for some of you who have a presence on these channels already, especially social media channels, you'll notice that some people who patronize you from social media, they've never ever liked any of your posts, any of the products you put out there. They just come directly and buy, and they'll tell you who have been following you for some time, or I just went through your field. So if you've been focusing on likes, engagement, it's good. It's good. It's also a good way to track your progress, but I would advise, do not rely solely on that, and let that not be, the factor determining whether you are going to continue posting. Show up every single day. I want to take a quick pause to see if there are any questions currently. Any single question from myself, any question. I see Olga looking forward to, having a Google mentor. Yeah, it's an interesting opportunity, and your brand is definitely going to greatly benefit from that. So sign up through the link I shared initially, Olga, and you have that mentor assigned to you. You have 5 different sections of the mentor. It's a great opportunity which every business owner should have to jump on. Looking to see if there are any questions for myself. Please try as much as possible to keep the questions coming. Asking questions is a huge part of learning. A whole lot of you use Instagram, Facebook, website, word of mouth, just going through some of the contributions initially. Veronica used Google My Business, interesting too. Facebook, word of mouth as well. Label using direct communication and also media interviews. Those are good channels as well. Nana into real estate and relying on word of mouth and established agents. Yes, Nana would have to focus more on building relationships. And remember the story I told initially. There's this 250 rule that everyone has, or has at least 250 people within their network. So treating clients well, they will definitely refer to you. So whatever someone is thinking of buying real estate, they would likely ask their friend or maybe a colleague, and you would want to have, Nana's real estate, come up or pop up immediately. More contributions here. And 3 chief foods produce data syrups here in Nigeria. The production process is very tedious, from washing, breaking, removing the seeds. Yeah, one day you're definitely going to be a global brand, Jane, and just try as much as possible to implement some of the learnings from the session today. Implementation is key. It's definitely going to be a global brand, and I'll be looking out for that as well. Turi Chief Foods going to try as much as possible to follow you on social media and see what you're doing. Maybe see if there's something I could also buy from you. All right, so let's get going. If there are any questions, please feel free to drop them right here on chat. Benedict is going to be dropping them by the side for myself. Happy to have any questions you have related to what we are offering or what we are teaching today. Moving on to developing your e-commerce offering, getting in depth, going into this a bit more. If you want to create your own e-commerce platform now, you definitely need to have a domain. Now, I'm going to try as much as possible to break this down for easy understanding. Just take away the www you have in front of, the web address, www, remove that, and whatever you have left, that's your domain name. So it could be nana.com, it could be trichi.com, it could be ngozi.com, it could be sylvia.com, benedict.com. That's a domain name. So I would say it's a unique identifier. So it has to be unique. There is no way, I'm not sure you can still find benedict.com. Trichi.com might still be available if it's not already been booked. Tony.com is definitely not going to be available anymore. So it's something, it has to be really unique. So this is something you'd have to purchase before it's the very first step. So it's a unique identifier. You need to think. It's also good to maybe use your brand name. It could be Trichi, like Trichi. Put up the business name right here. TrichiFoods.com. That's a very good domain name. It's very much, if it's still available. So the very first step to building your own e-commerce platform is to do what? Pick a domain and forget about the terminologies. I'm not coming here to bore you with complex marketing terminologies. The domain is just what you have after you remove the www. Google.com, that's a domain. Meta.com, that's a domain. Twitter.com, Gozi.com, that's a domain. So removing the complexity behind that. Securing a domain name is also easy. Now, I attended this seminar at some point, and the lady was telling me how she paid over $1,000 to secure a domain name. Now, it's not that the domain was actually already purchased, but because the lady does not actually know how to go about this thing. So she just met a web developer. The web developer gave her some costing, creating a domain or getting a domain, $1,000. The next one, $500. And I was like, how? So that's also another reason why you should invest in some of these learnings, because you could actually do this for yourself. Go into some of these platforms and secure a domain name yourself. All you need to do is search. If it's available, you can book it down. That's all. It's for some of these domain names, they are really, really cheap, except it's something that someone has already bought already, and you'd have to pay the person to secure that. Let's say I want to use Tony.com. It's not going to be available. Maybe someone has already bought that and just kept aside and looking to resell. Then I would, it depends on how I'm able to bargain with the person or willing to sell that. So these things are actually easy. You go to GoDaddy, Domain King, or Bluehost, secure a domain name. You do not need to wait before you have all the resources to create that website. Trichi.com or Trichi Foods, for example, mentioning this. I mean, people come up with ideas every day. Who knows, tomorrow there could be someone using that same name and, building a brand around that same name. And they go about to book down the domain name, and while you are ready, while you're waiting till you have all the resources, when you eventually have the resources to build a website, you see the domain name is not even available. Next, after you've actually booked your domain name down, is to create the website itself. And this, I'm not going to be saying or sharing anything related to coding. And also, for anyone thinking, oh, these digital stuffs are easy, I will tell you, I did not even have a coding background. I even never studied anything related to, digital or marketing. No, never had any coding background. But here I am today doing these things. Like I mentioned earlier, replace limiting beliefs with what? Empowering beliefs. Right here, there are websites, simple website builders. And you do not need any coding experience. You do not even need to have any prior experience to use these two platforms. There's Google sites. We also have Wix.com. Wix.com. So these are very great platforms, and all you need to do is just get on there, choose a template, and start editing. It's drag and drop. This is a good way to start if you want to, have that online presence, or just have a site where you can refer people to. Wix.com, Google sites, and it's very customizable. You get themes right there. You have templates, and you can edit it, change the background like we have on the slide here, the current slide. The backgrounds here, you can edit the background, maybe add your logo, add pictures from your businesses behind the scenes, add them right there. So it's left for you to play around it the way you want. And for myself as well, first time I used Wix, that was a couple of years ago. I've never had any prior experience using website builders. You just go Wix.com, and it's step by step. So one step leads you to another before you now get to the templates, and you start editing. You do not need any coding skills to do this. You do not need any coding skills to jump right on this website, simple website builders. We have Wix.com, Wix.com. We also have Google sites. These are platforms you definitely need to leverage. That's if you do not have a website and you're looking towards having, that's very simple website to, as I would say, digital stuff or whatever it is you're offering. Uploading content is key as well. You do not want to leave that website of yours empty. Take pictures. I mean, for myself, I love documenting the process. So anything, I would always take pictures, whether it's behind the scenes. People are not just looking to come in and see, the very, very best, where you're very, very serious and all, especially when it comes to social media. Stories are there for you to share what's happening behind the scenes. And as small business owners, if there are small business owners there, people would want to see the face behind the brand as well. So try as much as possible. If you're building a website, make out time to create content, video content, texts, images, blog content. Try as much as possible to do this. And I'll tell you from experience, if you have a website and you do not have a blog on that website, go back to your web developer or try as much as possible to include a blog there. This is a game changer. I know a brand which has gone on to become one of the leading e-commerce brands in the country. Working with them initially, they were just very much new to the industry. And within 3 years, if you search for XYZ in that country, they are right there on top. All thanks to what? Blogs, content. So you're selling shoes, you're selling furniture. What are people likely going to be searching for? You're selling real estate and you think it's just listing products, listing properties right there on your website. How do you show up on search? People are likely going to search for, real estate opportunities in Cape Town, and you want to have content around that, written content. This is a game changer, and this is a secret that a brand has leveraged that I'm sharing. In fact, it's not a secret. The game changer there is actually implementing. So if you have a website, you do not have a blog, you are losing out when it comes to showing up on search. And on search, there are lots of opportunities. So uploading content, like I said in marketing, content is key, K-E-Y. And it is king. Content is king. So try as much as possible to make out time, reflect, create content, especially blog articles. In the next 1 year, a lot of you will be coming back with success stories if you do implement this. You'll come back and say, yes, I attended this summit by the Commonwealth Women Business and Network. And in the next 1 year, after a couple of months, this is what I've achieved. So try as much as possible to build on this. Practice, implement. Best practices when it comes to creating content for your website. Prioritize your audience. Research your competitors. See what they are doing and how you can do what. Improve on it. See what they are doing and how you can do what. Improve on it. Do not go and, what content do my competitors have on their website? Oh, let's copy and let's do the same thing. See how you can be different. That's something that would always make people choose you over and over again. Try as much as possible to be different from your competitors. Research, it's always good to research, but look for a way to, be distinct. Prioritize your audience. You're actually creating this for the audience. So what are they likely going to come and search for? They are not likely going to be searching for real estate this, real estate that, or furniture, and they're likely going to be searching for what would trigger, what you need to have maybe a story around. And so far your website is showing when they search for that. That's a huge plus. It's a huge opportunity for you. Learn search engine optimization basic. You could leverage YouTube. This would help you boost your chances when it comes to ranking. And I've shared a great tip when it comes to showing up. Try as much as possible to have that blog. Have that blog section. And do not just leave it idle. Create interesting blog content that you believe your audience would be searching for. Like I said earlier, in the next 1 year, you should be able to come back and say, I attended the Commonwealth Business Women's Network Summit, and after 6 months, this is what I've been able to achieve. Looking forward to those success stories as well. So just going to proceed. Try as much as possible to go above and beyond. There's something we call e-commerce plugins. To break this down, these are just tools, I would say, that would help you with certain special functionalities on your website. So you want to have our promotions and discounts. You could download, there are plugins and you could download for this. Easy checkouts, you could download plugins. There are also plugins to help for search engine optimization, which is all about helping you show up on Google. Email marketing integration. Do you want an instance where someone buys and you're sending them a thank you mail, or you have that pop-up right there, and or you just have a subscriber or a subscription section right there on your website, and when people subscribe to maybe receive your newsletter, immediately they're getting a thank you email, stuff like that. Multiple payment options, offering multiple payment methods. And I would always say, this is a tip now. If you have an e-commerce platform, make sure you actually look at the business environment where you're actually operating and see what payment methods would people prefer. Where I'm having this presentation from, a lot of people would prefer to transfer instead of going to put in their card details online. So if you are working with payment platforms and you only have the option of paying online, you'll be losing out on a whole lot of sales if you're joining this session from where I come from. And this I'm speaking from experience. So try as much as possible to look at the behavior of customers, where you are operating. Are they going to be comfortable putting in their card details? So if you're integrating a payment gateway right there on your website, okay, they will need to pay through this platform, pay through PayPal or this. Are they confident? Are they okay with doing that? You could have an option for them to maybe pay via a simple bank transfer. This is very, very important as well. So do not just leave one payment option. Try as much as possible to have multiple payment options. And some plugins that would help to do this, you can find them on WooCommerce, platforms like this, Easy Digital Download, WordPress e-commerce. If you're using WordPress already, there's a section to download plugins right there. So if you have a web developer, you could speak with them about this, ask them what plugins you have running on your website, or just tell them to download some of these plugins that can help you with some of these very, very special functionalities. It's also very important to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. For some websites you visit and the mobile experience is not the best. The images and everything is not well aligned. The images are misaligned. The text are just misaligned. It goes on to tell you that the website is in no way mobile friendly. And mobile is the future. Mobile is the future. And in Africa, we were the first to actually spot this because we've gone mobile, we've gone mobile even before the world started discovering that, yes, mobile is the future. 2.41 billion people will shop online worldwide in 2021. What year is this? It's 2021 already. 2.41 billion people will shop online in the world in 2021. Imagine having just maybe 1 million people from this number shopping from your business. So 1,000. It's a huge opportunity. 21 million online shoppers across Kenya, South Africa, and Nigeria. Over 21 million shoppers across this country, and 50% of consumers shop more on mobile than in-store. This is going to keep increasing. I do not see this decreasing. 50% of consumers will shop more on mobile than in-store. It's a lot of stress when I want to get something and I come and sit down, type on my PC. I want to get this on the go. People want things in real time. I have my mobile phone. It's always handy. Even while having this presentation, my mobile phone is just handy. So there's something I need to shop this immediately. I would likely pick it up instead of even typing on my PC. So there are more and more opportunities created on mobile, and more people are shopping with their mobile device. So this is a key reason why you should ensure that your website is mobile friendly. Now, how do you do that? There's a tool by Google. It's the Test My Site tool. The link is right there on the slide. It's g.co/test my site. It's a tool you could actually use. Just go into the tool or just key in the address right there on your browser. When it opens up, you actually just need to add your domain. Remember, I said your domain is what you have after the www. So it could be Tony.com. So putting that right here, Google is going to give you a report on how your search is performing or whether your site is mobile friendly or not. And it doesn't just end there. It's also going to give you recommendations. Okay, this is what you need to do to improve the experience. So Google is not just going to tell you your site is not mobile friendly, it's taking this to load, it's the text. It's going to actually give you recommendations. So if you have someone helping out with your website, you could go on and share this with them. Why is it taking how many seconds for the site to load? Why is this happening? There are recommendations here, follow them. So this is like giving you the power. You're now the pilots instead of having those who develop the websites and or tell you this and that. You can try this for yourself and just assess how your website is doing and leverage on some of those recommendations to do what? To improve. So taking another pause to see if there are questions at this moment. Taking pause to see if there are questions, and lots of contributions right here on chat. Benedict doing a great job. And just feeling you all are very much welcome. I think everyone is looking forward to the Google Mentor team. So pretty much interesting. Everyone looking forward to, okay, Girls Coding Academy, yeah, it would be very, very advisable for you to sign up and also get a mentor. On a school, a publishing, an online news publishing media will launch a television show this week to promote investment and tourism. Very, very good one. Any questions, would be happy to help. Or maybe we would skip and have the questions at after the last presentation. So keep those questions coming if there are any. And like I would always say, asking questions is a huge part of learning. If there's anything confusing, I understand we have people coming from different level of understanding, and I'm very much trying my best to break this down. How do we protect from cyber insecurity and cyber attacks? That's Nena. How do we protect ourselves from cyber insecurity and cyber attacks? So that's a very, very good question. Yeah, I got that, Nena. That's a very, very good question. So it's all starts. I'll start with the very, very basic one, having a very, very strong password. And it's going to surprise you. This is also verifiable on Google. It's going to surprise you that the password most people use is the word password. You could Google this. The password most people use is the word password, Password. So it starts by, online security is very, very key. It starts by having a very strong password. Make sure you have special characters there. Do not just go with a plain word like Nena, or do not just go with a plain word like Esther or girls coding. Try as much as possible to have characters and numbers, and make use of lowercase and uppercase characters. That's capital and small letters. So if I'm to show my password here, you'll be like, wow, how do you even remember this? So starts by having very strong password, and trying as much as possible not to click on any link from an untrusted source. So for myself, even from emails, I do not even click on any link. So if you're receiving pop-ups, emails, people are likely going to be pitching different opportunities to you as a business owner. Click on this, or some of them would go as far as sending you an invoice. So yeah, this is an invoice, or yes, this is what you actually sent. Please go over and see. They just come up with different tricks every now and then. So try as much as possible not to click on any link or download any file or attachment if the source is not actually a trusted source. So I believe that these two are very, very key tips for you to leverage. Have a strong password. Do not click on any untrusted link. Do not download any file you're not sure the sender. You're not sure of the sender. And also, when you get onto websites, you'll have a whole lot of stuff popping in. Do not click on those pop-ups. It's whatever pop-up it is, try as much as possible to be very careful before you click on that. Also on social media, you find links, Facebook and the likes, try as much as possible to be careful before you click on any links. These are the two easiest methods by which, you can get those attacks, especially when it comes to downloading attachments. You have it already, you download a malware, and it's very difficult to take it off. They could have the opportunity to even see whatever it is you're doing. So while you're trying to change your password, the hacker is even seeing what you're doing. Change the new password you're actually putting in, the hacker is going to be seeing it. So very important not to download anything you're not sure of and clicking on links you do not trust. Also, when you go to websites that do not have any form of security, try as much as possible to look out for the padlock sign. So if you're joining the session from YouTube on your PC, you look out on the tab, you see that padlock sign. You could click on that padlock sign and see that it's secured. So they have that SSL certificate. So when you go to links, I've taught my mom this a lot because she's always saying, hey, my friend was hacked and this. So my mom I always see her doing this. She's always looking out to say, yeah, that padlock is there. And sometimes she would get links and she would tell me, Tony, it's just HTTP without the S. The S actually just makes it secured. So if you're seeing HTTP on any website, never, ever, ever put in your information, maybe even create a password on that website or try to log in. Has to be HTTPS. So pay attention to that S and pay attention to see if the padlock is there. If it's not secured, you just have HTTP and you go in there to give your contact details. Be rest assured that it's like putting it open to the whole world to say that, yes, this is Nena, this is my password. So look out for that S, and I hope that helps. Nena, please let me know if this helps. Okay, I'm going to be coming back to your question, Olutosin. So let's just wrap up the session. Coming back to your question for the final Q&A round. So if you have more questions, please ensure you keep them coming right here on chat. Moving on to utilizing social media to drive sales. On this final part, we're going to be looking at how you can actually create a social media strategy and just maybe share some tips and best practices on the different social media channels we have available. How can social media be of benefit to your business? Of course, some of you have already shared this earlier on. I would say this social media can be a very big game changer to your business in a whole lot of different ways. You could also still want to contribute how you think social media could be of immense benefit to your business. Benedict is right there on chat to engage with you, but I'm just going to share a few. Be rest assured that it's not limited to what we have here. There are still more and more benefits of what you could gain from social media. So it's not limited to just the 5 benefits we have here. There are still more and more. And sometimes these things are actually very, very relative or, personalized. So social media could help you generate sales. It could help add value to your brand. It could also help to improve your marketing, build relationships and network. Stay competitive. There's a whole lot you could gain from social media when it comes to generating sales. There are a lot of some of these social media platforms boast of over 2 billion people. The same numbers, I myself am seeing opportunities, a whole lot of opportunities for me to generate sales, adding value to your brand. Of course, most people would actually go on, like we walked through that statistics, over 90% of people would actually go on to research and see if they can find your brand online. For myself, if I learn about a brand, I'll likely go on social media, I'll go on Google, learn more about the brand. Now, you as a social or as a business owner, it's left for you to, go on social media. Do not just focus on, promoting your products. Talk about the causes you promote. Do you support gender equality? Do you support, the push for climate change? Creating awareness around that. What your business is doing about keeping the environment clean. These are things people want to see, and it goes on to make them, just become advocates for your brand because their own what they're advocating for, their own form of advocacy aligns with your brand. And more people, there are statistics and there are research for this. So more and more people are becoming or building advocacy around brands or becoming advocates for brands, thanks to what the brand is doing, not just related to sales, but what they are doing for the environment, what they are doing for their community. So try as much as possible to reflect, make sure that these things you're actually doing are reflected on your social media channels as well. All this will in turn go on to improve your marketing. They will in turn go on to help you build relationships and network. Relationships are key. Networks. I even never come out to say, yes, I can deliver training. I never say that. I never ever try to even sound salesy going online or say, yes, I can speak at an event or do this. But at the end of the day, people would come in and, tell you about these opportunities because they know that, yes, Tony is doing this already. Taking this back or relating this to the session on I Am Remarkable, if you do not share your experiences, you do not share what you do, you're still very much reserved about going on social media to post, how would people know what you do? This is a network. This is a women's network, of course. The other person or every member of this network, or especially in your respective chapters, need to know that, okay, this is the person I could actually reach out for when it comes to real estate. So going online, whether it's social media or just doing business generally, you need to rely on building relationship marketing is a whole different thing entirely. And it's a big game changer. And I've noticed that a whole lot of people do not leverage on this. We keep relying on new customers. Whereas if you treat the 20 customers you already have, the existing customers you have well, build relationships with them. See when they have birthdays, send them, happy birthday messages and all. They comment on your social media channels, reply them, view their stories, sometimes comment on that. It's building relationships. And at the end of the day, whenever someone is looking for what you're offering, they would say, no, go to Nena, go to XYZ store immediately. Yeah, they are the best. That's how it works. Everyone, still relating this to the rule of 250, everyone who's actually buying from you knows at least 250 people. Imagine the ripple effect this can create. Staying competitive, of course, this is another benefit you could get from social media. You see what your competitors are doing and you try as much as possible to improve on that. Now let's look at setting up a social media strategy. The strategy is key. I don't know if we're familiar with, the Trojan horse story. If you're not, you could as well Google this. It's a very, very important story on, the importance of strategy. A whole lot of people go online without any single strategy. I would always say this, you do not hit luck online. You do not hit luck online. Relating this to those who go online to play, I would say, yeah, the comedians, those who make skits, those who make memes, and you think, oh, they just show up every day creating memes and people are like sharing this. Yeah, they are in the entertainment industry, and you think, oh, they do not need to have a strategy. They just it's going to shock you to know that some of them, the comedians you see out there, they invest in these things and they have strategy. They know the content they are going to put out tomorrow. They know they already have a niche. They've already defined their tone of voice. Why are you, as a small business or as a business owner rather, not doing this? You do not go on social media and you just try to do things spontaneously. It's always good to have a plan, have a strategy, have everything defined. And with these building blocks, you are going to be able to create a strategy. This is also something everyone at the end of this particular summit or this particular session, every one of you, I'll charge you to do what? Create a social media strategy. People are on these channels and we think, oh, we just go there. Let's just go there to post. Try as much as possible. Post every day. Post every day. Posting without a strategy, it's a recipe for what? For ending up in a futile state. I wouldn't want to use the word failure. No, it's as very good as being useless. Posting on social media every day without a strategy, and this is what we'll find a whole lot of people doing. So, how do you go on to set up that social strategy? You start by defining your audience. There's something called an audience persona, persona, an audience persona. What are your audience? What are you trying to reach? Are you in real estate? You're selling real estate, maybe premium real estate. You could define your ideal audience as, maybe this age, maybe women within the ages of XYZ, income bracket, earning $10,000 to $20,000, working C-suite executives. I'm just giving an instance right here. Very, very important to define your audience. If you define your audience, you know what kind of content to create for them, and you know where to reach them. So this is going in a sequence. You do not just want to create a strategy and you start by maybe saying, okay, I'll leverage this social platforms or these channels. Start first by defining your audience. What are they interested in? What's influencing them? When are they usually online? What social media channels do they use? It could be that you're on LinkedIn. It could be that you have a B2B and you're going on Instagram and you're dancing. I mean, your customers or your clients are likely not there. It could be that you're into corporate events. Your clients might likely be on LinkedIn. Maybe he has the executives and they're like, oh, I see this lady posting about, the previous event she did, the previous corporate event. So yeah, let's use her for our next event. So know where they are. And this is very important for you to define your audience first off. So creating a strategy, first step, define your audience. What's the next one? Define your business goal. What do you want to achieve? It could be that you're an NGO. Not everyone is all about sales. It could be that you're an NGO and your goal is to create more awareness around this cause. This network, of course, would not have any goal of, except there's a product. The Commonwealth Business Women's Network, you wouldn't have a goal of generating more sales. I mean, what are you selling? Except you have something, some products you are actually selling. The goal might actually be to, get more women across Africa or across the Commonwealth nations know that this network exists. Get them to join your network, let them know about what you're advocating for, let them join, let them become advocates for this as well. So goals are different. Not everyone has the goal of sales. So, but if your goal is to generate sales, still very much captured here, define that goal of yours. Is your goal to give better customer service, which is also very, very important? Is your goal to get more people to your website? Is your goal to connect with influencers? It could be relative. So your audience first, then you define your business goals. Then you pick a platform. If you've defined your audience already, on getting to this stage, you already know where to find them. Business focused, you'd likely go to LinkedIn. Lifestyle focused, you're likely going to rely on, Instagram and maybe TikToks. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So even YouTube as well. So start with one, test, learn. A whole lot of people make the mistake of coming and you want to be on every social. It's a whole lot of work when it comes to creating content. And the kind of content you should be creating for Instagram is different from what you'd create on Twitter. For Instagram, you have to use very engaging and high quality visuals. But on Twitter, you could just go in and, type something. There's a trend related to real estate and you're a real estate company. You just go in, jump on that trend, give a contribution. It's good awareness for you and people are like seeing, wow, yeah, this real estate brand just said this. Yeah, retweet, more awareness for you. If you use one content for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere, That's another recipe for ending up in an island of what? Futility. So try as much as possible. Start with one. If you're the one doing this, if you're bootstrapping, you're doing everything yourself. Start with maybe one or two. And along the line, if your business, as the business grows, you can now as well hire people to help out with this, and you explore more channels. So different channels would need different strategies, like I just explained. Strategy you're using on Instagram, the strategy you're using on Twitter, it's going to be different. On Twitter, like I say, it's quick fire conversation, like I said earlier. On Instagram, you would also want to show behind the scenes. These are things people want to see on Instagram stories. They do not want to come in and see you being very serious all the time. Buy, 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 buy. Using the word buy, buy, buy every time is another recipe for what? Ending up in that same vast island of futility. So try as much as possible to understand that these channels, all these different channels, have different strategies that would work there. So are you business focused, lifestyle focused? Are you focusing on Instagram? Are you focusing on Twitter? Are you focusing on this channel? Understand the strategy that works on the channel and make sure you leverage that. Define your brand voice, define your tone of voice. A whole lot of us have personal brands here, and I'm just going to use that for an example. For myself, you go on LinkedIn, yes, I want to be very serious right there. I want to be very serious, sound formal on LinkedIn, a bit informal sometimes. On Instagram also, I'm intentional about building a personal brand. I try to showcase everything I do there. But when you come to channels like Facebook and Instagram, I never even share that on, Facebook and maybe a WhatsApp. I never even give out, numbers of that whenever I go to a networking event, because on WhatsApp, that's where I play. That's where I play. So I've defined my own tone of voice as a personal brand. Talk more of you as a business owner. Define your tone of voice. There are things I know I would never ever share because I have already defined that. I'm never going to share this. Sometimes I take very nice photos I want to post on Instagram, but I understand this is what I want to focus on this month. I want to focus on sharing content about, branding or the like. So it's very, very important for you to choose a tone of voice. Do you want to sound thought-provoking? It could be that you are maybe an NGO. You are creating an awareness about, maybe gender equality, of course. And this is something that, people need to go back and think. They need to see your content and know we need to take action about this immediately. You wouldn't want to be advocating for a serious issue and every day you come online and it's all about fun. You want people to see the content and have that, evoke that feeling of taking. Define your tone of voice. It could be that you're a brand, your business, you want to sound fun, you want to sound trendy. If you're going on TikTok, a lot of it's a game. It's a channel with a whole lot of people, and there's a lot happening there. So I see brands now going on TikToks and those channels, and when they get there, they try to act fun. It also has to do with understanding the channel and the type of or the tone of voice you should adopt. So I'm related to that channel. So, but you'll have to define this. Define your tone of voice. Do you want to sound fun? Do you want to sound very serious? Do you want to sound thought-provoking? Do you want to sound encouraging? For myself, that's the tone of voice I get to use. I want to encourage people. I want to inspire them. The do's and don'ts. This is what we should do. This is what we shouldn't do. Your style of images. Brands have this a whole lot. Maybe we're going to be having every image would at least feature a face, or every image would at least feature a product. It depends on you. So the style, the brand guidelines, the logo, all these things are important, but a whole lot of people get to, sideline them and think, why do I need to do this? It's very, very important. Finally, define what success is like. Why am I sharing this? If it cannot be measured, it cannot be improved. So what's success like to you? Why is it, 100% increase in sales, 100% increase in this? So define what success is like to you. If you do that, it's going to help you, be able to measure at the end of the day. Because if it cannot be measured, there's no way you can improve it. If you're going to set a goal right after the session, okay, implementing this after 1 year, I want to see, 100% increase or 50% increase in sales. And at the end of 1 year, you're not seeing that. You could just reflect, see what you're doing well, what you need to improve on, and implement the learnings, and it keeps getting better. Like the country director of Google in Nigeria would always say, there are no failures, they are just feedback. No failures, just feedback. So define what success is like: growth in sales, traffic, increasing brand awareness. Make sure you measure this, and at the end of the day, if you do not hit that goal, try as much as possible to pick from the learnings and not get discouraged, and you get going. So finally wrapping up with this. After this question, we'll just go over the next few slides and we're done. So what social media platforms do you use? I see people have shared this already using Instagram. Outside social media, I see someone using Google My Business already, which is a very powerful tool. If you do not know what Google My Business is, you could just Google it and sign up, get verified. It helps your business show up on Google search. What social media platforms do you currently use? I know I'm going to be saying the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the LinkedIns, and all. But let me just briefly share strategies. I'll just talk about some of these channels briefly. Twitter is good for quick fire conversations. It's happening. I mean, there's always something trending. Be on the lookout. Something related to your industry might be trending. It's a good opportunity for you to jump on it. A healthy trend to jump right on it and see how you can contribute. That's some good publicity for you. Make sure you're leveraging hashtags. Use engaging tools right there, like polls, questions. Engage with people as well on Twitter. Engage with different contents. Engage with your customers, of course. They are retweeting yours. You too, at some point, would have to share theirs as well. Maybe when they give you a review, that's you share it. So that could help. Use pinned tweet as well. So you could use a pinned tweet to, describe what your business is all about. This is sales period, of course. We are entering the biggest sales. We're already in the biggest sales window of the year. Black Friday was yesterday. Today is small business Saturday. So it's a massive sales period that we just entered. It could be that you're giving away 10%, 20% discount. And from studies that I've done this year, studies that have been conducted, more and more people are following brands to do what? To see, to get discounts, to get promotions. I'm not making this up. These are thanks to the studies I've actually read or reports I've read this year. So it could be that you're giving a 20% discount or 50% this period. Make sure you pin that tweet so everyone who visits your page would actually get to see that. So it's not lost in between the quick conversation happening. Facebook, this is a great channel. It links to your website. You could link this to your main website. It's very good to have a Facebook page. Advertising on Facebook is also very important. And if you're wondering, people pay for people to do this for themselves. And each time I get to do this myself, I'm like, what's the difficulty in this? So it's something you go on Facebook, there are lots of videos there. Sorry, you go on YouTube. I call it the University of YouTube. There are lots of videos there for you to upskill. No point having to pay anyone a dime to create a Facebook advert for you. You can do this yourself any single time you want. Do you want a situation where you're having to go back every now and then to tell the person, please change this? You effect changes anytime you want once you learn how to do this. So get on Facebook, create a Facebook business page, and try as much as possible to advertise, because with Facebook, the organic reach is very limited. So you would want to advertise to reach more people. Instagram as well. It's a lifestyle platform. You'd need to have very, very clear and engaging pictures. Be sure to show your face, especially if you're a small business owner. Be sure to show your face. People like seeing the face behind the brand. It also goes a long way to build trust. I want to buy from the brand and I come in and I'm seeing just pictures of products. Who's behind this brand? What's the face? People have issue of trust when it comes to businesses they find online. So you do not even want to make it more complicated for them by going on this platform, especially Instagram, and all you have are just images of real estate listing, properties, images of your product or food from A to Z. You do not even have a story highlight showing the face behind the brand. It's very important. Make people trust the brand more. Go easy on the use of hashtags on Instagram, having 30 hashtags. Use hashtags that are related to your industry. Hashtags like maybe real estate in maybe Durban, real estate in South Africa, real estate in Africa. If you're into real estate, that's the 3 or 4 could be enough instead of using 30, 40. The limit is actually 30. Using 30 hashtags that are unrelated, it doesn't help the post, it doesn't help the brand in any way. You could leverage influencers as well. There are small influencers you could work with. It's all about building relationships, networking. Try as much as possible to do this when you get online. Like I said, build relationships, network. These people are going to go on to become advocates and influencers for your brand. And that's how word of mouth is still the highest form of marketing. If I'm to tell you, it is still the highest form of marketing. We are only leveraging this digital media to create an awareness and all. At the end of the day, you want to be mentioned whenever someone is asking, what is the best real estate company, or what's the best, where can I get this? Because people will trust people more. LinkedIn is right there, building a professional network. Of course, if your business is B2B, it's a platform you should leverage. You could have a LinkedIn page. You would also want to be posting yourself. So do not go and rely on the LinkedIn page alone. Nope. You're a CEO, you should as well be doing a lot of posting on your own channel. You attend an event like this, you go, you take screenshots. Yes, I attended this, I did this, I did that. You have new milestones you actually met, you share that, new achievements, goals. I share the journey as well. I do not even wait till I hit a goal before I share. Yeah. If I try as much as possible to share the journey, share the experience along the line. If there's a milestone I share at the end of the day when I now say, oh, we've hit this goal. They're like, wow, so Tony, you finally did this. I know the journey when you started taking these courses, when you said you were now learning how to advertise on Facebook, and now you're doing this. It's more relatable than just coming out of the blues and saying, yes, I just achieved this. So share the milestones, share the process leading to the journey, and try as much as possible to share the achievement as well. So pausing for the final round of questions, final Q&A round. Final, going to look out to see if there are further questions here. Yep, whoop, a whole lot's happening right there on chat. Whole lot happening on chat. Yeah, Tosi, I'm going to get back to your question. Yeah, Tosi is into financial advisory and tax consultancy. I have tried to incorporate digital services provisions, but hasn't delivered the numbers because most people seem to prefer personal consultation. Any advice? Whoop, most people seem to prefer personal consultation. So Tony, Tosin, try as much as possible. That's a good question as well. So it's a challenge I believe a whole lot of people are also going to be experiencing. Personal consultation, and you have a business around this. Your face, you could, I mean, this could be an instance, or the solution to this could be just building a personal brand and making sure the business itself, you are now actually becoming the business. So coming to consult for or anyone who's actually approaching the business, you make them understand that you yourself, you show your face more often. That you yourself, you are the face behind the brand. You are the one actually, you are the pilot behind this doses. So you could also make sure this is connected to your own personal social channels. So once in a while, you could say, okay, our founder said this, our founder did this, our founder, and you're showing your face right there. Once in a while, you just leverage the channel, tell stories. So I believe it's going to help a whole lot. So try as much as possible to, I would say pivot. Is it pivoting? I wouldn't use the word pivoting. To make sure you incorporate more personal branding into this brand. I do follow some brands that are into financial advisory, and I'll tell you, the content out there is very, very boring. It's for some of them, I do not get to see their content anymore because I don't engage with it, because every day is one, you have images with so much text into it. Whatever it is you're doing online, if you're creating images every day with just text, try this, put your face, put a picture of yourself, or maybe create a video where you're teaching for them to do this, or educating them in an area when it comes to financial advisory. Do a video and see the engagement or the reach you are going to get from that. It's going to be far higher than what you gain from just coming out to put up a post, put up an image saying we do this, we do that, or this is this, this is that. So try as much as possible to incorporate personal branding into the business. Just I hope that helps, and I do believe it's going to help. Veronica as well, manufacturing and exporting company in Kenya, seeking new markets. And okay, Veronica just talking about what her company does. And yep, I think that's it. So I'm not sure there are any other questions right here. Hope there's no question I've skipped. If I've skipped your question, please, you could pop that in on chat again. But I mean, this has been really engaging. It's been really interactive. A lot has been happening right there on chat. And Thanks so much to Sylvia for the first amazing session on I Am Remarkable. Everyone here, you all are remarkable in your own respective ways. Just going to talk about the one-on-one mentoring opportunity from Google again. I'm going to share the link in case you missed it previously or the last time I shared. It's a new opportunity for business owners. All you need to do is sign up and you get to match the mentor from your region or your country, and the mentor is just going to help you with your digital strategy or your digital journey to ensure that you're actually achieving your goals. So you have 5 different sections with a mentor, all for free. Interesting and amazing, isn't it? So I would implore everyone to jump in on this opportunity as soon as possible. So what are your next steps? We've gone over a whole lot today from the Remarkable session to this, walking you through different platforms available for you to leverage if you're going online. You could have your own website. You could leverage existing e-commerce platforms. You could leverage online business directories or social media, share some best practices, walked you through how to create a social media strategy, knowing your audience, defining your business goals, the channels to leverage, tone of voice, and measuring to, if it can't be measured, it cannot be improved. What's next for you? Try as much as possible to implement this. We also have a learning portal with further courses, a whole lot of courses available by Google for free. Link is learndigital.google.com/digital skills, learndigital.google.com/digital here on the portal for you to upskill yourself, sharpen your marketing and digital marketing knowledge to, achieve your goals. So the key next step for you would also be to implement. Knowledge isn't power if you do not implement. Knowledge isn't power without implementation. Knowledge isn't power without implementation. So try as much as possible, add power to this newfound knowledge of yours, and implement. You make mistakes, there are no failures, just feedback. On social media, just search for Google Digital Skills for Africa, or just use the hashtag Grow with Google. You'll find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Share your feedbacks as well. Use the hashtag Grow with Google, and I'm going to be looking out for that a whole lot. So engaging with those who are going to be sharing their feedback, images, screenshots you've taken. This session was delivered right in partnership with the Commonwealth Business Women's Network, and it's delivered right in partnership with Google. And we look forward to having more of this subsequently. Of course, getting into a new year, Nana has already mentioned that the network is committing to training 10,000 people already, and we started with that now. So looking forward to more sessions like this coming up, and every one of you attending to upskill yourself. It's a great thing when we have business owners invest in knowledge to actually grow their businesses. It goes a long way to show that you all are passionate about what you do, for you to invest time in upskilling yourself and growing your brand. So for myself, Grow with Google team, everyone behind the scene, it's thank you, and you all have been very much amazing. You all are remarkable, and Ngozi is going to be coming up next, to give a closing remark. Ngozi from the Commonwealth Business Women's Network will be coming up next to give a closing remark, and you all are amazing. Implement the learnings, and going to be handing over to you, Ngozi, to wrap this up. Thank you all.
Wow. Tony, again, Google has truly come to the women of the Commonwealth Business Women's Network, Africa, and the Commonwealth states, and of the world around. This is brilliant. As we all know, the purpose of the summit is to ensure that women are empowered and trained on how to position themselves in order to maximize the benefits that can be garnered from the Commonwealth advantage and intra-Africa trade. And we have indeed enjoyed the training. This is just a tip of the iceberg. Stay with us through to March 2022 and enjoy the different activities and empowerment programs put together to empower even more women, not only in Africa, like I said, or the Commonwealth states, but the world at large. Tony says, be shameless about the hustle. And I say, your story is your strength. And it's very important to share your achievements. He says it's important to know your strategy. It's important to know your audience. It's important to know what you stand to get. What is your brand talking about? And because he says he doesn't want to give it, he says there are no failures, but then it's important that the right things are put in place. We can't thank you all. There's a lot that has happened today, and our international COO, Mrs. Nana Wanjao, the realtor estate, the power behind the Wanjao Real Estate Company, and the chairpersons of the brand partners of CBWN, the ever so supportive members of the various countries that have taken time out to be part of this wonderful session. And, you know, we would also like to acknowledge our international chairperson, Madam Freda Miraculis, all the way in Australia, our executive director, Dr. Arif Zaman, and other team leads and advisory members of the Commonwealth Business Women's Network. I sincerely thank you all. We also have behind the screen power, Benedict Hickson. He doesn't show his face, he says, but he has actually put everybody together. When things fall apart, Ben puts it together. Elizabeth is there with her super team. She doesn't show up only when there's problem. And all she does is she belongs to the clapping events and saying, well done, guys, you have done it. We also have AY and Baduri, who also have been part of this great day. And we are so grateful. Thank you so much. God bless you and bless the works of your hands. And for us women, I'd like to tell the men that we're ready, we're prepared. We will expand our reach. We will get there. We will surmount it. All the mountains, we will surmount it. We will get there. We've got the power. We've got the confidence. We've got the knowledge. We will use it. And you have said, knowledge is very important. And learning has never been something that we have overlooked. It's a major part of CBWN because a lot of our work is done through talent, training, and trade. So we are putting ourselves together. Guys, get ready. Tell your friends that CBWN Africa, we are seeing you guys at the top next year, March 2022. Thank you very much, and God bless you.